Good afternoon and welcome to Hot Jobs with us here at Higher Military. Good afternoon. I hope you're all really well today. I'm Lucy and with me today is Amber. Hey, Amber.
Hello.
How are
Happy
you?
Tuesday. It's good. I
Yeah.
am good. It was a long weekend.
It was a really nice long weekend, wasn't it?
It was. We had great weather here. So, yep. Football yesterday. It was good. I'm excited to be
And
here.
I'm excited to be here too and back to reality today. But fortunately for us, it was because of Veterans Day that we had the day off yesterday. So thank you to everybody here who is watching, who is in the veteran community. We appreciate you. And it's really great to have you with us today. If this is your first time, or even if this is your second or 10th or 20th, please tell us that you are here in the comments. We are here to help you. Amber and I chat every single day, and we are very happy to have a conversation in front of you guys, just to chit chat. But we want to be able to support you and help you with anything that you have in query or a question that you have with regard to the job search right now, with regard to skill bridge, interview skills, salary negotiation, targeting the resume, you name it, we are here to be able to help you. If you are not familiar with us, we have some incredible opportunities for transitioning service members, military spouses, and our veterans across the nation. We are here to support the whole of the military affiliated community. And please don't forget to check the links in the description where you will find so many helpful resources and our upcoming events. Hey, Olivia in the chat, it's really lovely to have you with us today. So before we get going, I would like to have a conversation with Amber today about her. And this is really putting Amber on the spot because she knew I was going to say this, but she doesn't really know what I'm going to ask her. And in reality, the reason why I wanted to do this today was in celebration and in honor of Veterans Day yesterday. But if you are not aware, I am the military spouse here in this duo, but Amber is our veteran. Amber, can you tell us a little bit about your military career?
Yeah, of course. I joined the Air Force June of 2002. Yeah, I left college after a year after 9/11 and decided I wanted to just get away and serve my country. And so I joined, left 2 weeks later. And it was really scary. And it was a huge major change from where my life was, where I planned it to go. But it was ultimately the best thing that I could have ever done. I ended up spending 21 years in the Air Force. I started overseas. I spent about 10 years or so overseas. I loved it. And then had some pretty amazing assignments stateside as well. So I traveled and I loved it. And my career field's kind of obscure. Most people don't know what it is, but I met a lot of really great people during my time. And then I ended it as a first sergeant, which is ultimately the best job in the Air Force, I think. So.
You say that not many people are familiar, but everybody's heard of your career field. Tell us what you did.
I think so. Well, so not every branch has it. So I did command post. Command and control operations is what it ended up getting changed to halfway through my career. So very similar to what you would see in a FEMA organization, dealing with emergency situations, whether it's, weather related, aircraft related. I mean, pretty much anything that happens on the base comes through the command post. So I did that. Lots of shift work, lots of long hours, lots of exercises, but it was really fun. I like the busy work. So Lucy knows that.
We all like the busy work here, but you do. So before we get going, I've got 3 questions to ask you today. I ask everybody this when I meet with them first time, because I'm genuinely curious and I love to know a little bit about them. Where was your favorite assignment in the Air Force?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. So it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but Lucy already knows the answer to this. My favorite assignment was Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota.
Say it louder for those in the back.
Minot Air Force Base, like right outside of Canada, y'all. It's really cold there, but it was my favorite assignment. And I'll tell you why. Because people join the Air Force for different, or the military in general, for different things, whether it's, you want to get your education, you want to travel, you want to see the world. And I did that, right? Minot was one of my later assignments. And I will say I truly loved it for the mission. The mission was the hardest one I had ever done in my entire Air Force career. It really challenged me. I met some amazing young airmen who like did this job, and it just blew my mind how smart they were and dedicated they were. And so I fell in love with that. And then obviously I fell in love with the community there. It was really great, perfect for kids. And I met my husband there. So
that was the cherry on the top of the cake. And I feel like, so Amber and I were both stationed at Minot at the same time. We even lived on the same street. We just didn't know each other at that time. Yeah, isn't it funny? And I will always say that it probably was my favorite assignment too. Obviously I wasn't part of the mission, but the community there was absolutely. And I was overseas for the majority of my husband's career. And Minot definitely was the best for me. It was cold in the winter.
Yeah, there was that. But really, like, the community was so great at like really trying to put on as many support events, you know, entertaining events for the military community. They absolutely loved and embraced the military community. And I think that's just made it feel just so much better.
Yeah, I really agree with you. So, questions to you. And this is making the comparison between then and now. I'm genuinely interested in hearing what your answers are. So, number one, how has your daily routine changed since transitioning from military to civilian life?
So I will say, daily routine. I said this, I think, probably like a year ago when I was having a conversation. I forget with who, but one of the things that I really appreciate in my daily routine is being able to get up in the morning, take my time, not feel rushed to get out the door, and have my kids at daycare at like, 6 a.m. as soon as they open, because I have to report for shift. And I've had more time to actually do my daughter's hair in the morning. And I like love that little thing that like I didn't really get to do before, or I didn't really have time to focus on it, right? I wasn't as present because I had a lot going on, outside of family. Your military career sometimes is your life. And so the difference now is I enjoy the daily routine things that maybe I didn't enjoy or I overlooked accidentally just because of the nature of my job. So family dinners, the morning routine, picking kids up from school, getting to go to events at the school that like maybe I couldn't have before. Yeah, so things like that is really nice. I enjoy it. The freedom.
The freedom. I think that's really poignant, doing my daughter's hair. That's something I have never heard before, but that just literally says everything about the transition. So with that in mind, what aspects of the military, what aspects of your military experience, rather, do you find most valuable in your current role? Is there anything at all?
Yes. So I think one of the things, I had a big shift in my military career, probably around year 16, 17, where I was in positions with leadership positions, right? Where I was in charge of people, or I was their, mentor or whatnot. One of the things that changed for me was, starting early on, I was focused on the mission. Like that was my job. I was a doer. I was the technical aspect was my thing. So when I transitioned to a leadership role, I really took that very seriously in terms of, people always say mission first. But people matter. People always matter. And so I think my ability, or being able to go to different assignments and work with different people and learn about them and actually spend time, getting to know them and helping them through their career or life transitions, really translated into something that I really loved doing. And I realized I loved doing it. So I wanted to be a first sergeant. Ultimately, I got to do that. So I think that's been very helpful in this career because I still do the same thing. I still talk to people every day, and I get to talk to them about their lives and, their goals and their dreams and their aspirations. And, I share advice or I share resources, and it's been really helpful. So the people aspect is really great.
That's amazing. We've had so many people join us while you've been talking. Hi, everybody. We're so glad that you are here. And my final question is, what do you miss about the military on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, Probably, I mean, not on a daily basis per se. I miss the people. I do miss the camaraderie, the getting to meet new people. Like, I think that's the best part, is getting to travel and meet new people that you never would have met before in your life. You get to learn about them. I mean, I learned some amazing things about people, learned their stories, their backgrounds. We're still connected. So that part I do miss, but I kind of feel like I still get to do that in this job, meeting people from different branches and helping them. But at the end of the day, I will say, 21 years later, it was great. I loved it. But I'm very happy where I'm at right now. So, and I appreciate everybody who's still who's still serving. Your sacrifices do not go unnoticed. And I really appreciate your service to this country and your families, because at the end of the day, that part is just as important. Your family is your support system. So don't let them forget that.
Yeah, and your family is your support system. Doing the hair in the morning, that gives you joy, that gives you a different purpose in life, and it is just a completely different world, isn't it? And when I meet with transitioning service members ahead of them separating or retiring, we have a conversation where I endeavour to acknowledge there's the change in job that changes your whole entire life. And I think that really goes unspoken a lot of the time and goes unappreciated and unacknowledged. Some of us have got everything in order and know exactly what we're going to do and where we're going to do it. Others just haven't had the ability, like be it the time or the capacity, to set their journey in motion. And it can be quite hard. And it's very, very tricky leaving that life and those people that you've had around you for a huge amount of time. So, just to reiterate Amber's words, I mean, I don't want them to sound hollow. Thank you, everybody, because everybody who is listening and watching with us today or later on, you are part of the community and you absolutely know exactly what Amber is talking about. Thank you. Those are 3 questions I've never asked you before, and we've worked together for a long time now. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. As we move now, we are going to be discussing and highlighting our newest or potentially the most important positions that we are trying to identify candidates from the military community for. If you haven't joined us before, if you haven't been with us before, ultimately, corporate employers, civilian employers across the US and overseas connect with us because they specifically want us to help them with their recruitment by connecting into the military demographic. They want you as a veteran, they want you as a transitioning service member or a military or veteran spouse to apply to the roles that they have, and we're the conduit to help them do so. So as we discuss our positions today, please be a motivated job seeker, and I am going to say the next thing in parentheses or brackets, as I would say in English. Hiremilitary.us, that is our website where you will find our roles. Because of some tweaks and changes that I have been doing, it's ultimately user error and my fault. The first thing that you will see as you go to the careers page, it will say no jobs. You do need to click on departments, and then the jobs will all drop down underneath the states. But that will be a change, hopefully, that will occur, really be rectified in the next 24 hours or so. We do have lots of jobs. We have lots of SkillBridge internships. If you don't see anything on our website, but you would like to register your interest with us as a motivated job seeker or SkillBridge or career skills program searcher, please do register your details and drop your resume onto our database, onto our website, because we would love to stay in touch with you. We email about every 2 weeks to give you the latest and greatest. And in addition to that, we go to our database, first of all, as soon as we take any new position. Before we get going, Amber, is there anything you wanted to add before we get started on all of these roles?
No, I'm ready. I'm excited. Thanks for being here, everybody. I keep watching all the comments, so thank you guys. Hopefully we have some amazing roles to share with you. And again, if you don't hear something that we say, do go to our website because there is more listed there.
And so many people are retiring or soon to be retired or will be transitioning in the next few months. So it's really great to have you here. If you're not aware of our website, if you've never been onto it before, I would love to direct you to the resources section under job seekers, jobs and internships, I think it is, because there you will find so many articles that we have written over the last year or so to help you on your way. And the first one I always acknowledge and amplify is the Quick Start Guide to Targeting Your Resume. And I feel like a broken record talking about this. And I know we do week in, week out, but you may not have heard us before. So I want you to know. But it's incredibly important. Amber and I work with and meet new candidates on a daily basis, multiple candidates on a daily basis. And if you have not been able to go to a great tap class, or if you haven't had the support that you ultimately need, the first resume that we may see in application for a role might not be the one that we would really like for you to have in terms of being a successful and competitive applicant. So by taking a look at that resources section, by reading the Quick Start Guide to Targeting Your Resume even, it will set you head and shoulders above the rest and ultimately create a competitive application, which is all we want for you. We want you to get to that interview stage so that you can talk about yourself and you can really sell yourself for that role. But let's get going on the permanent jobs, or direct hire, as we call it in the industry. So I've got a couple to share with you today. The first is audit manager, and this role is remote. This is working for one of the big 4 global consulting firms, and this is specifically working on federal internal audit. It's working with the US Army as the end client. So if you are from an Army background, primarily, all other branches are absolutely considered, but Army speaks Army. And you have got federal finance and accounting experience of at least 4 years, I would love to have a conversation with you. They are looking to fill a couple more positions. They are remote. And in essence, it is the fastest finger on the button. Who can we get over to them as quickly as possible to be considered? They do move incredibly fast. I normally send an application and a successful candidate has been offered within a week. So if that sounds like you, either connect with me or take a look at that role on our website. Second of all, this is a skill bridge position or a permanent position, dependent on the best candidate for this role. We are looking for a business developer, and this is out of Baltimore, but it is a hybrid position as well. And one thing to note as a job seeker, if you see hybrid, it doesn't mean work from home. I've had so many people apply assuming that it's a remote position and they can just pop to Baltimore every now and again. Unfortunately, when you see it listed like that, it means you do have to live in the local area because there is an element of travel or an element of in-office work. So this is working for a veteran-owned and operated organization working in the trades industry. And they have got so much inbound so many inbound leads and inbound communication that they don't have anybody to manage and develop their business for them. They want somebody who can relationship manage, who can account manage, and ultimately project manage those accounts as they come in. They're looking for somebody who can close a deal. You don't have to have sales experience, as referenced by it being a SkillBridge internship for the right candidate. But you do need to have a really personable attitude, aptitude, and sort of that leadership quality that you get from the military. That is Baltimore business developer, SkillBridge or permanent. We've just taken a brand new position. It is a software engineer. It is remote. It is not on our website. More details to come on that one. But if you are looking for a software engineer role in a remote capacity, please send me a DM or drop me a message here. And as soon as I have further detail, I will get that over to you or give you the link for the website. But so that's software engineer and that's remote. Across the country, we are working with the DLA, Defense Logistics Agency. So these next roles are federal positions. And we are making very warm introductions in lieu of the whole USA jobs shebang. You will have to submit an application, but we want to make an introduction for you first and foremost. And they are looking for a financial systems analyst in Philadelphia, and accountants in Richmond, Virginia, Whitehall, Ohio, Battle Creek, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, and Fort Belvoir in Virginia. So if you have finance experience, or just a semblance of finance experience, you are looking for a federal position, and you are in or will be relocating to one of those areas, these are amazing positions, and we would love to share more information and make that introduction for you. Moving swiftly on back to the IT industry section career field, we have 3 new roles with one of our major clients here in the US. And the first one is a DevOps engineer, and that is out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia, or Fort Meade. You do need to have a TSSCI clearance for this position. But if you are interested, if you are in either of those 2 locations, please do connect with me either by commenting here or DMing me so that I can share the detail. Both roles, even though they are ultimately for the same client, have very differing qualification criteria. And the same goes for a network engineer out of Columbia, Maryland. So just northeast of the DC area, before you get to Baltimore, we are looking for a network engineer. Those positions, all 3 of them do need a TSSCI clearance, and ideally somebody from our veteran community. I think that's about it from me, Amber, today. Lots of positions, but I know you've got a whole host more.
I do. All right, guys. I'm going to talk about SkillBridge internships. So before I share a few roles that we have on the SkillBridge side, I did want to clarify what SkillBridge is. If you're Army, you've heard of it as CSP, so Career Skills Program. So this is for both. This is for eligible transitioning service members who are in their last 6 months of service. So if you are eligible between now and, like next summer sometime, you're like in the prime window right now for these roles specifically. So that's 180 days before your separation date. That's when you're eligible for SkillBridge. Now, you do want to discuss it with your command team, make sure that you don't have any other restrictions. There are some branches who do restrict based off of, what Manning is able to support and or based off of rank. Those are just some new changes that have come earlier this year. So definitely have the conversation with your command team. Let them know. You definitely want to do that before you start applying to roles because, we don't want anybody to apply to a role, get an internship offer, and then their command team denies. So definitely have that conversation early, often. And if for some reason you do not see a role or you don't hear a role that I'm going to share with you or see one on our website that is of interest to you, but you do have a company that you've already been talking to, but they just are not DoD approved, and they want to host you as an intern, definitely reach out to myself or Lucy. We can absolutely help you craft, an email to send to them in terms of, helping bring you on board as an intern under the higher military umbrella. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to send us a message. All right. So the first role I have is I am looking for technical support engineers. This position is remote for the SkillBridge, but listen, for the full-time role at the end. So the SkillBridge is remote. You will be working with a company called Datadog. So they are looking for interns to bring on board. You'll work as a technical support engineer, and you'll share technical and product expertise with customers via multiple channels, demos, presentations. You'll also be contributing to Datadog's mission. This role is very entry level per se. The requirements are very minimal in terms of they just really are looking for people who have computer science background, engineering major, or you've done a IT boot camp, something like that, right? Or you have practical experience in IT. They want somebody who's self-motivated, a critical thinker, attention to detail. If you already have some programming in your background, that's just an added plus, some basic knowledge of Linux. The key to this one, though, is they do want people to be willing to work rotating schedules and have weekend availability. So now that could potentially apply to your internship. However, you will only be allowed to work 40 hours per week. But the full-time role at the end does require two weekend shifts a month. So keep that in mind. It is a hybrid role. So like Lucy said, it is not a fully remote role that you randomly, go on site. The full-time role at the end of this you do have to live in either the Denver, Colorado area, San Francisco, California, New York City, New York, and Boston, Massachusetts. So keep that in mind when it comes to this internship specifically, that the full-time role will require an on-site presence at one of those 4 main locations. All right. And then moving on, like Lucy said, we are working with DLA and it is super exciting. So she shared the full-time roles. We have very similar SkillBridge roles. And what is fantastic about this is that you are essentially skipping the entire waiting period that you normally have to do when you're applying for a federal role. So if you can get your foot in the door with DLA, work as a SkillBridge intern with them, it is these roles for SkillBridge eligible interns does lead to a GS civilian role once the internship is complete. So we are looking for all different types of positions, from business analyst, financial analyst, accounting roles, and they are located in multiple locations. So it's going to be Fort Belvoir, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, Battle Creek, Michigan, and San Antonio, Texas. So we have all of the roles listed on our website. They do say DLA in front of them, so that way you can identify which ones are which. And these are fantastic opportunities. I would love to chat with you if you have any questions about the DLA roles. So go check it out. These are fantastic. We hope to get more, so keep an eye out. And then the final role that I have is I am recruiting for a project analyst. This is a remote position. This is with our partners at American Microgrid Solutions. They're looking for a project analyst to help them deliver high-powered systems that improve security, savings, and sustainability for a wide range of facilities. So they work on different facilities like health clinics, resilience hubs, multifamily housing, state and local government locations, first responder units, utilities and commercial buildings, basically bringing them renewable energy in the form of microgrids for, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yes, so they're fantastic. They had an intern this year. They are converting, and then they want to bring another one on board as a project analyst. So they are looking for someone who has a passion for renewable or distributed energy, someone with a strong academic background in either like engineering, power electronics, technical background, nuclear flight experience, someone who has very good PowerPoint and Excel skills, and is available sometime between January and April of this next year to start their internship. So if you are interested in learning more about that position, please send me a message. I will be more than happy to share that with you. And that is all I have, Lucy.
That is all you have. That was an awful lot, Amber.
I know I even tripped myself up because there was so much information. I was like, oh my gosh.
So the last couple of things that I want to share with you today are also on our website, and it's really a highlight of 2 companies that we work with very closely who want to share their message through us in order to raise their profile and to get more applications from the military community. So let me introduce you to Veteran Service Brands. Veteran Service Brands is a company that we have been working with for about 18 months now. And the CEO, Jack Child, and I connected about a year and a half ago after an introduction from Mike Quinn, our founder and CGO. And he ultimately won me over in terms of his passion, his support for the military, his belief in creating a company that was purely run by veterans and spouses too. And so he is a seasoned veteran himself from the Air Force with over 40 years of experience. He founded Veteran Service Brands back in Virginia Beach, and to create a portfolio of trades companies. So they have 4 brands right now: G-Force Parking Lot Striping, Field Ops Athletic Field Markings, Mark 1 Epoxy Flooring, and Paint Core, which is commercial and residential painting. These franchises are exclusive to US military personnel, and they offer comprehensive support, including resources for funding, hugely serious mentorship that really help you build a thriving business. If you have been considering entrepreneurship in your post-military career or in your future, if you really want to do something for yourself, but you want somebody to hold your hand whilst you are doing it, this is the company for you. Everybody in the organization knows exactly what you've been through in terms of your career. They have stood in your shoes at some point or another, and now they are your future. They are who you could be in 2 or 3 years' time. This year, as we've been working with them, they have increased their franchise opportunities, the number of owned franchises. Well, when I first started working with them, they had 70. They're now at 84. So that's another 14 across the country. And maybe you could be the 85th or 86th. If you want to hear more about them, if you would like me to make a very warm introduction, literally hand you over to their director of franchise services, please connect with me. Drop me a message, send me a DM. I would love to. I 100% believe in this company. I think everybody is amazing. I went to their national conference earlier this year, and I was blown away by the success and talent in the room. And I'd love to share that with somebody else here. We're a minute or two over. I'm just going to finish up here. Finally, we work with Acuity International. If you go to our website, you will see some roles in the Marshall Islands, in Iraq, and in Somalia. So basically, too long didn't read. Do you want to work in a security or healthcare role overseas for a specified amount of time? If the answer is yes, come and take a look. They have got some great opportunities specifically for our veterans, because they are looking for people with a military skill set and military experience. And again, that introduction is so warm. We literally hand you over to them and say, hey, X, have a chat with Y, see if you can make something happen there. And we want to be able to do that for you as well. So if that sounds of interest, you can connect with me, you can connect with Amber, and we will do that for you. Amber, 3 minutes over. Thank you for today as you take a sip. It's been a blast. I appreciate it.
It's been wonderful. Thank you, Lucy.
No, thank you for highlighting yourself and showcasing your experience. And we will be back again next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, for another Hot Jobs with us here at Higher Military. Take care. Bye-bye.